Father, we thank you for this year that you have blessed us with, Lord, to enter. We thank you for the opportunity that you give us all the way around. We thank you for Ricas, Platicas, for Richie, for Gil. And we thank you for 2019, Lord. We know that this year is a year of growth and prosperity. We ask you that you continue to bless each and every one of us, our businesses, our homes, our lives, our minds, and everybody around us can feel the same blessing that you give us each and every day. We ask you, Lord, that your blessings as well as your presence never fail in our homes, in our hearts, and in our businesses, and everything that we do, Lord, be an honor and glory to you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. All right. Well, everyone already heard the wonderful voice of Pastor Sergio here. So this is the first time we have him here. We've been wanting to have him in Ricas Platicas. Can you give us a little bit about how you started the ministry? What was it when God called you to do this?
Sure. So first of all, thank you for having me. So what started me? I grew up in the ministry. Growing up, going to church, falling asleep under the pews. Being the little rebel, so to speak, the prodigal son. Going out, wanted to have my fun, but God called me out plenty of times and pulled my ears here and there. He had a calling for me, and I knew it. I just wasn't ready, but the time came whenever I knew that it was my time to step up and do what God called me to do.
Awesome.
We started out at Casa visiting 4 years ago, and we just started getting involved. We started noticing that as more as we dedicated to the things of God and the things of church, His kingdom, He started to bless us more and more. And we asked to start getting involved to unravel our ministry.
Okay.
And I started help cleaning the church. We started with security.
Nice.
Ushering.
Yeah.
And just the small things, And
you started feeling the calling for the youth.
So I knew the calling was there, but I didn't know what it was. I knew eventually I was going to be preaching. I mean, that was a dream that God gave me since I was a kid.
Oh, wow.
And so I started the smallest things. I just was passionate about throwing the trash out, passionate about being security, helping a mother with her car seat, trying to get inside the church, making sure that they get in safe, making sure that whatever I can do to help, and
right. Mm-hmm.
And whenever you become passionate for something, you become passionate for most other things. So right away, Pastor Jesse gave me the opportunity to work a little bit more, and he felt that I had a calling for the youth.
Okay.
And he put me to start ministering them, being a youth leader, and soon after, he called me to be the pastor for them. So,
awesome.
A little over a year, been a youth pastor for Casa de Fe, and here we are, with my wife, Angela, and my 3 beautiful children. We've been there for faithfully and strong for a little over 2 years now, and man, it's been home. Like I said, I grew up in church, but it's never felt like this.
Right. Yeah.
This is home, and we're awesome. Happy to be a part of it, man.
Yeah, definitely. Casa de Fe is a place that anyone can call home. I call it my home. I don't go as much as I wish I could go, but I definitely have to. Gil was asking me, he's like, man, what's been going on? How come you haven't been doing the podcast? I'm like, just excuses, bro. But church is the same way. Honestly, it's just excuses. I really need to make the time to go back to Casa de Fe.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about what's going to be going on this year with the youth team.
Okay, so first off, the youth group is called PowerHouse. We established that in 2017. We're just tossing up some names. I started up with four kids in the youth group, and I just felt in my heart that God was telling me that these guys are a powerhouse. Just a great energy, a great potential is what powerhouse means, and that's where we birthed that PowerHouse Youth, and
heck yeah,
we grew to a population of 36 kids now.
Wow.
We split them up from college years to high school and junior high years, from 13 to 17, and then 18 to college students. And we've been doing some Bible studies, and just God's been so good to us. And a few a few months ago, Pastor put it in my heart. He says, "Hey, I want you guys to start doing y'all's own youth services. I want you to start planning it out and just start praying to God to see what He wants for you guys." And we did. We prayed and just let time take its place. 2 weeks ago, we went to Albuquerque, and I had already had it in my heart February 5th that we were going to start our youth services. And there was a prophet that we went to go visit up there in Albuquerque. His name is Angel Martinez, and he's from Orlando, Florida. And he prophesied over the PowerHouse Youth. He called them by name, brought them up, and said, "Hey, you guys are going to start y'all's own services pretty soon. And soon after that, the Lord's going to give you guys y'all's own building. You guys are going to start doing something for the community, and revival is coming to Hobbs, and it's going to come from within the community. And you guys are going to start it." And it's something that put a fire under us, and we're just so excited, man. So starting February 5th, we were going to have our first youth service this Tuesday at 7 p.m. at 601 East Snyder. And we're excited, man. It's just
awesome. Heck yeah. Yeah, it's a really nice place to be, man. So Gil, I invite you to go, brother. I think I'm gonna be going. I wanna go check it out. Be a part of it. I do want to be going. Every once in a while, at least when I can. But I do know that that the community needs to hear.
Right.
God definitely these
especially this generation,
these days, and this generation, and these past couple of stuff that's been going on lately, So I wanted to be a part of it as well, and have the show be a part of it, and that's why we invited you, and so we're also very excited. We're also very excited for what's going to happen, and whatever we can be a part of, let us know.
We appreciate it, man. Yeah. So
what kind of activities are we expecting for like the kids? What are they going to expect from being part of this?
So we have plans this year for. We're going to plan a volleyball tournament pretty soon to do some fundraising. We're going to start having worship nights,
which is pretty popular. Volleyball out here
volleyball tournaments.
Man, that's nice. I miss those days.
So we have other churches that like to participate in stuff, and they come from Albuquerque, Colorado, Fort Worth, Dallas, Houston, and they like to come participate with us. So I kind of threw it out there, and they were like, "Heck yeah, man, let's do this!" I know in a couple months we're planning a youth service for the community of Albuquerque, and I will be preaching up there, giving some conferences up there, and we're excited, man, because we're expecting about 600 kids.
Okay.
So that's going to be the biggest crowd I've ever had, and but man, God's doing big things for us. We actually have a missionary trip to Chiapas, Mexico in July, and most of my youth are going, man. We're excited, Sometimes we gotta go look outside of our box to see how God is blessing us from the inside.
Right, yeah.
But we just want to go out there and we want to give. We want to give back to the world. God called us to be disciples, and that's what we want to do, man. The kids are on fire, and we're excited, man. There's so much planned. Yeah. September we're gonna have our youth conference, and we plan to bring Prophet Angel Martinez down from Florida.
Awesome. Man, so for anyone for any of the youth that is listening, there is a home church, that if you're not attending one, if you've been wanting to go to church, if you think it's a little weird, because I think sometimes church is a little weird, you gotta.
There's some pastors that you see, I'm like, wow, okay.
Yeah,
maybe this is not your calling.
And I guess in the whole media stuff that's going on now, in the whole media universe that everyone's living on, some churches do get a bad name, with like stuff that is like, what are you doing? But I've been to the church. It's awesome. The worship team is awesome. The place, the environment, it feels good. It doesn't feel old school, it feels.
Well, we've been kids before, and the thing is like the Fresh Prince says, parents just don't understand,
Yeah.
But I'm not that old. I'm 31 years old. I've been through it all, and that's the thing that God allowed me to go through a lot of things so I can be able to help the young people of this world, Social media is a great thing. It's a great tool if you know how to use it right. But definitely. I feel like most of this generation has trying to get their identity from it, and And that's not where we get it from. We get it from God himself, you know.
They want the likes, the
comments, and it's kind of like this, like a little high that people get from, you know, just watching people approve of them.
And what they don't realize is that the most important like is from Jesus himself, and he's already given it to us, you know.
Yeah.
Man, that's awesome that you're spreading that to the youth, because I think because of social media, there's just so much information being thrown at these kids. Confusion that they're...
A lot of different messages, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, you know, having someone here locally and, you know, you reaching out to them is pretty
we're down
awesome.
to earth, man. We're down to earth. If you guys are looking for a sign from God, this is it right here, man. Come join us. We're gonna have a great time. We're down to earth. We're not strict. We're not gonna to make you walk a straight line. You know, it's everything is all the way Jesus wants it. And you know, come find a home with us. If you already have a home and you just want to visit, just come visit us and have a good time. You know.
Yeah, and if you're like, I know there's a lot of people that say, you know, there's not much stuff going on in Hobbs, or Hobbs is boring, or what do I do, or like one of the things that, you know, comes from my background is that church is a place that is very awesome to producing talents. Like if you know, don't really know your calling, you know, I would recommend, you know, step inside a church and see what you could be used for, because there are so many things. You know, you could be in the music, you know, you could be up there inspiring people if you want to be an influencer. It develops you, and I feel like that's what church did to me as a child. You know, it developed me.
It's awesome that you say that, dude, because I grew up without a dad. You know, I had a stepdad that provided, but someone who taught me discipline.
Right.
My mom, you know, I got the spanking, chancla, you know all that.
Yeah.
But when it came to discipline, I always craved that, and I didn't know where to get it from. Yeah. You know, and after Ricardo saying that, you know, if you're craving discipline, if you're craving to be something and, you know, learn something and prepare yourself for the world, I think being part of the church is a tremendous thing for youth.
And it's great that you touched that subject, because we're always looking for new talents. We're looking for singers all the time, musicians, you know, that want to find if you want to say it like this to start off, if you want to find an excuse to be in church, this is a good excuse. Go serve the Lord. Go play your instrument. Go sing. If you like security, man, we're always looking for guys to be in security, media, music, you know, the sound, you know, anything, you know. God always has a place for each and every one of us.
Cooking, if you like to cook.
Yeah, man.
You can't outcook me, but you can try, man. Come make me something to eat.
Hey, there you go. There's a challenge for you young folks.
Hey, now that you said that, you're going to have to make a cookout. We're going to go.
Cookout.
Time.
Because I bet there's a bunch of kids out there that think they're all that. And let's see. Let's put it to the test.
Yeah, so tell us something that I guess you've experienced as a youth pastor that, you know, that you've noticed that God has been there. You know, I know there's so much stuff, you know, that you have to deal with as a youth pastor, you know, or what the youth tells you, problems that have been going on. What is something that you've experienced within the last year?
Oh, man, there's so much. So, let me see.
I know, you know, there's like so many great things, you know, that God is. I know God within my life has been just about constant change and you know, testing and I know God has been calling me to go to church, and one of my biggest issues I feel like is the fact that there's so much stuff going on, like there's so much stuff dragging people's attention. So I guess my question is, what is one thing that the youth comes to you as a conflict that says, this is stopping me from going to church or from getting closer to God?
So, well, I guess, so when it comes to conflict, I think the biggest issue is whenever we had our little incident here in the community of Hobbs where, unfortunately, a young kid took his life. And, something hit me really hard, and it hit me really, really hard because I've learned to fall in love with these kids, and each and every one of the young kids, you know, we do Common Ground. We're part of Common Ground, and we go Bible studies and in the junior highs, and you know, see you at the pole and stuff like that, and it hurts me to see somebody take their own lives because of somebody telling them that they weren't worth it or something, you know. Right. And whenever I reached out to my kids, I realized that this issue was a lot bigger than just one kid. Yeah. You know, this was hitting hard at home. This was hitting hard at our church as well. And, you know, it goes back to trying to find your identity in social media, in your friends, in whoever, even sometimes in our parents. But our true identity comes from Jesus himself, where he says he loves us, that he died on the cross for us. So that if that doesn't tell you that he loves you, then I don't know what can tell you that.
Yes.
Another experience, you guys believe in the supernatural? Jesus does the supernatural. So miracles are done so it can catch our attention, But the most beautiful thing that Jesus does is gives us eternal life, He gives us eternal life. He gives us salvation. So, but miracles, just talking back on miracles a couple weeks ago, we were back to the subject of when we went to Albuquerque. You guys, young people were seeing gold flakes everywhere on their hands, on the floor. That supernatural stuff works. It happens.
Manifestations that are supernatural.
Yeah. So these kids were seeing gold flakes. The spirit of laughter, man. These kids were laughing like crazy in the altar. Crying, and it's something that they have to see to believe that Jesus is real. And,
yes, definitely.
And it's okay. We love seeing the supernatural, and we know that it's going to happen plenty of times at Casa de Fe. This year, it's happened before, and it's going to continue to happen. It's going to get better,
Awesome.
It's just a great experience, man, to see that the kids are being able to experience this as well.
I'm glad that you support the youth because, I mentioned earlier before starting that, a lot. I study the mind, and adult mind, youth mind. And what I've learned about the youth is that they have no logic understanding of nothing. Their sole survival, as they learn, is all emotional. That's why as kids, we're rebels. We want to go out. And we tell them no because it's a logical thing. But they don't understand that. They just know going out is fun.
Right.
Or doing this is fun. Youth has no understanding of logic. And I think a lot of adults don't know that. They
sometimes
don't know that.
we even don't have logic.
Exactly.
So emotion is our
like
primal survival, and that's what your youth grows up to see, and that's how they see everything. That's why they learn from adults, the parents, especially their parents. I mean, that's the most influential part of your life, is your parent. But not even parents sometimes don't even understand how their kids learn, how they are adapting, how they're becoming to be who they are.
Yeah.
And having that knowledge, especially you supporting that with this youth stuff, man, I think it's incredible because it gives them that seed.
Right.
Jesus
has given me the opportunity, man, to be able to have that genuine relationship with these young kids. I know a lot of young kids, they can't talk to their parents about certain things, and they've confided in us. That's our job as youth pastors, to be able to do to be there for them. And that's what God has given me the opportunity to do, is to be able to be genuine with the kids, so that I can open up for them to open up to us and help them, in the tough times in life,
Right.
Because there's a lot of confusion. These kids don't understand, like you're saying, they're surviving as they go, and sometimes they don't understand, and they're too embarrassed to ask their parents, and God has given us the opportunity to be there for them. And if you're listening to this, man, you need somebody to talk to, reach out to us. We're here for you guys. You guys have a lot of value. You guys have a lot going for you. If God has given us life to this point, it's because He has a purpose for each and every one of us. So, that's the great thing. It's a great gift that we can't take to waste.
Amen.
Yes.
And around that age, and the like you were saying, in the age of growing up and developing yourself, and you're surrounded by friends, that you don't really sit there and talk about real life issues, or like you're saying, sometimes you don't really feel comfortable with telling your parents. Sometimes you weren't really close like that with your parents, you're not very close like that with your friends, and there's things, that you just kind of want to hand them over to someone that you can trust, like someone that's going to listen to you and give you some good advice, and actually care about you, like, hey, you should do this, or come with us, come join us, and
I know you see the youth, how you mentioned just now that the youth can confine with friends, but that's also, it's not the best thing, because a friend is it's your same age. I mean, he's got the same knowledge as you do, and it's probably gonna give you some advice that's not gonna be the best for you. So reaching out to someone like Sergio would be good, because you're not just gonna get what you want to hear, but you're gonna get some actual valuable feedback, stuff that's gonna help you overcome whatever it is that's bothering you, affecting you, whatever it may be, right?
Yeah, and develop you into a better person, and that's what this program has been dedicated to. When me and Gil were bringing this podcast to life, we were talking, and our main goal was to be able to reach out to people and give good messages. I know we come in here and do some crazy stuff sometimes, but we want to give an opportunity to everyone, right. to everyone to spread out whatever it is, if it's in talents, if it's in business, if it's in arts or whatever it is. And one of the things that I wanted to make this podcast the first one of the year is to give, God the priority and tell him that, this year is going to be, focused on trying to reach people and give good advice, and what the show stands for, Ricas, Platicas, rich conversations.
Right.
So with that being said, we're going to go to a quick break, just 5-minute break for us, and then we'll be right back because Sergio wants to invite you guys to the services, and he has a lot more to tell us. So we'll be right back, guys. Thank you.
Hey, my name is Sergio Muñoz, and I'm the PowerHouse Youth Pastor at Casa, 601 East Snyder. And starting February 5th at 7 p.m., we'll start having your youth services. Everyone's invited from ages 13 to college students. And if you need a ride, give me a holler, 575-689-5594. And once again, I'm Pastor Sergio, and everyone's invited. Come by and see us.
We're back from the break. We just kind of wanted to make sure that the cameras were rolling and we were still going strong. But we're here, episode number 21, in Ricas Platicas. For everyone listening, make sure that if you're driving, you're safe. If you're washing dishes, you clean them good. If you're at home or wherever you're listening, make sure you tune in and you pay attention, because this is going to be very important. Pastor Sergio, he's been telling us about what's coming up for the youth. So I know Gil wanted to get to know him a little personally.
Yeah, so we're gonna go deep into who Sergio is. That way these kids can really understand who you are. And, they can trust you, and they're more willing to, pay a visit.
Right.
Hopefully, with that visit, more will come.
Right. No.
So, but anyways, you had mentioned earlier that there's issues that these kids go through, especially that young kid who unfortunately committed suicide.
Mm-hmm.
At that age, when you were at that age, did you experience like similar problems, with
Absolutely.
Stress, anxiety? Tell us a little bit about that.
So, I guess growing up, I just want to start off with rebellion. Rebellion is something that is your spirit is fighting against. So the tougher you have a hard time being a good person or a better person, the more God is going to use you. So it's just like opposites attracting, right? So growing up, I dealt with drugs, man. I dealt with stealing, being disrespectful to authority, depression, suicide. I've dealt with the spirit of suicide for a few years growing up, man. And it was over something silly, as far as things weren't going good with my girlfriend, or my parents wouldn't let me out, and I was letting those things determine where my life was going, and I understand where these kids come from when it comes to that. Drugs has been a big epidemic in our lives, in this community, in this country, and I went pretty bad through it, man. I was not a good person, I'll admit that, But the most beautiful thing about it is that I've experienced the renewal through Jesus Christ, that my past don't matter anymore, and I didn't understand growing up when my parents were trying to tell me that God is the way, you just got to get closer to Jesus.
Yeah.
And I was like, you don't understand, like, that's not going to help me. I'm a drug addict, or, I'm going through depressions. You guys don't understand,
Very negative, huh?
Yeah, just a negative Nancy, and when I realized, when God really touched my heart and he showed me what he was all about, man, it really impacted me. And I'm like, if you really can do this, like, show me your glory in my life, and God has brought me this far, man. you know, one of the things that I know for a fact that I struggled with, and I know that there's a lot of kids that struggle with outside, is authority. Having problems with authority, you know, whether it be the police, whether it be their parents, whether it be the teachers in class.
Yeah.
You know, everybody deals with that, and I was probably one of the worst.
Guilty here too, man.
But you know, one day God called me to my life, and he says, you know what? If you don't respect authority, you don't respect me. And the word says, the Bible says that we must respect authority no matter who it is, that we must respect it because he has set that in place in this world, you know? So that's where he showed me that if we don't respect authority, we don't respect him. So I said, you know what, Lord, I'm going to bite my tongue. I'm going to do it your way, and you're going to show me your glory. And one day, man, you know, I was at work, and I had been doing the same thing for 8-9 years, you know. The definition of insanity is repetition expecting different results, you know?
Exactly.
And I said, you know what, I'm just going to do things different, you know? If this is you, Lord, you're going to make it right, you know? And I was sitting there talking to a supervisor of mine, and he told me, hey, I need you to do it like this and like that. And I'm like, yes, sir. You know, and I walked to my truck, and I went out to the location, and I'm like, this is not the right way. It's not. But you know what? My authority told me I'm going to do it God's way, and let's see what happens. So I went out there, and I did it, and it came out wrong. And went back to the office. He says, hey, Sergio, what happened? And I said, well, it didn't work. And he's like, well, why? How'd you do it? And I said, I did it like this, like that, like you told me. And he's all like, okay, so what do you suggest? And I was like, well, I think if we do it like this, I think it might work. And he's like, okay, well, let's give it a shot. And I did. And you know, it sounds funny and it sounds so simple, but I did exactly what God told me to do. You know, I respected authority, whether he was right or wrong. And he realized that he was wrong and then suggested I do it my way. And it came out right, you know, and I respected him as far as with my words, with my mind. I didn't curse him out, you know, and man, from that moment on, I realized something touched my heart. It was a joy that nobody could take.
The feeling, right?
Yeah, so I continue to do it, man, and I am not kidding you, man. A month later, I got promoted to superintendent, man, and
Nice.
I was like, man, I've always been wanting something different in my life, and all it took was respecting authority.
Yeah.
If I would have known this 10 years back, where would I be at, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, I'm so thankful to God because he speaks to us, but we have to give ourselves the opportunity, you know, for him to speak to us. But, you know, respecting authority is one of the biggest issues that we have out in this world right now with the young people. And, you know, I just want you to know that I understand, you know, I know it's tough. I know that we think that we know more things because we live it in our own eyes, but, you know, there's other perspectives out there, and sometimes it's better to have those kind of perspectives.
Yes.
You know, the thing about parents, you know, the Holy Spirit speaks to our parents and tells them when they're wrong. You know, it's not our job to tell our parents that they're wrong. It's God's job, you know. Our job is to listen and be respectful and honor them.
Yeah.
And
I have a question.
Go for it.
I don't want to interrupt, you know, the vibe, but you know, we're going back to the fact that, you know, we spoke about the young man that unfortunately committed suicide, right?
Right.
In this generation, one of the biggest issues I feel with the youth, you know, going to church is, I guess, the feeling of the judgment. You know, like the kid was saying, is that I guess one of the problems was a lot of these kids are feeling judged at schools or at church, and that's why they're turning into other alternatives. So, what do you tell the young kids, you know, that don't really feel like they can go to church because of feeling judged by the way their choices they've made or the way they are?
Right. So, like I said, in the year, a little over a year experience that I've had with the young people, I've learned to realize that it's all about identity. You know, you go and you drop your social security card, somebody steals your identity and goes and buys whatever, and they ruin it, right? Well, that's what this world has done to us. They've stolen our identity and they've tarnished it.
Yeah.
And now we have this insecurity in our lives that we don't know who we are, you know, and I think that that's our biggest issue. And whenever we go to public places, we don't know how to act. We don't know how to feel sometimes. We're so vulnerable to the world because we've let them steal our identity, you know. And the only comfort we have is in our phones, you know, the likes, the messages, the DMs, whatever you want to call them, the Snapchats, you know, the responses. You know, we've relied on that because we can hide behind our phone because we've lost our identity. You know, but the beautiful thing about it is, you know, I'm going to say right now, I'm not a perfect person, but you know what? I'm very down to earth, you know. We've had new people come in all the time. We welcome them to our place. You know, we speak to them about things that matter, you know, that matter to a young person. You know, I'm not gonna speak to you about a business. I'm not gonna speak to you about your kids. I'm not gonna speak to you about things like that don't make any sense to us. I'm going to speak to you about how do you recover your identity.
Yeah.
You know,
about you.
Yeah, how to be able to control your mind instead of letting other people control it for you, you know? How to be able to have a revival within yourself. You know, that's what we're going to be speaking about in our first service Tuesday is revival within, you know? And you know, that's one of the things, you know, and I'm not here to bash on any churches, you know. Growing up myself, I didn't know where to fit in our church. You know, we were really strict. You know, very, very, very traditional, so to speak, right? And I felt like there was no home for me there. You know, and since I've started with Casa de Fe, you know, they made me feel so welcome. You know, it's not just a church; it's a community. It's something that you can find comfort in. You know. And I've met other youth pastors in this community, and there's homes in other churches. You know, we've learned to find the common ground because that's what that's what it's called, common ground. Our common ground is Jesus. You know, Pastor Dane, Pastor John Senna. I'm trying to remember all the other ones. First Baptist. You know, there's a lot of youth pastors out there that are just so down to earth. You know, they go and play volleyball with the kids, and you know, I've gone to my kids' games. You know, you just got to show them the reality that, you know, you actually care about them. You know, you're not there to condemn them. You're not there to judge them. You're there to help them get through life. You know. Yeah. And the best way through life is a better relationship with Christ, and that's what we've done. You know, me and my wife, we've just gone vegan, man.
Oh, really? Wow, bro.
We're going on our third week.
That is awesome.
So whenever we get with the kids, we eat all the time, and I've gotten so out of shape, and I'm like, man, these kids want to eat all the time, and then they want to go play soccer, and I'm like, I can't do this at my age no more. So we decided to go vegan, eat a little cleaner. We started going to the gym. And I've lost some weight, man. I'm like, I need to get in shape because I want to keep up with these kids. Yeah. You know, I don't want to get to a point where I'm like, you know what, I can't keep up with you. I can't be y'all's pastor. I can't hang out with you. But, you know, that's not what it's about, you know. Richie, you've been to my house. You know, we're down to earth. Sure, and we hang out with the kids. We do some worship. The kids love to play the guitar, the piano. You know, we're fixing to get a bigger place. And I'm going to buy me a drum set so we can just have a complete jam session. Nice. You know, and it's just to be able to show them a home, you know, show them a home right here, not our actual house, you know. But showing the love of Christ is not just in church; it's outside of church, and that's what we've tried to show these kids, you know. And man, we have a different crowd from what we started with, and that's just being real with them, you know, showing them a comfort level, being able to help them gain the security back through Jesus, you know, and. Man, I'm just so excited.
That's awesome.
I'm all pumped up for Tuesday.
Man, kids, I hope you listen to this. You know, Sergio just said that he went vegan to be able to keep up with you guys. You know, like he went vegan, so he's all in. He's here for you, and I hope you're listening to this because, man, very few people will do that. Will do what he's doing to be able to do it for you. You know, and that's powerful.
I thought I was gonna give up my right arm or my left arm or my right leg before I ever gave up meat. Man, I'm a big carnivore. Wow. But I decided to do it, and you know, when I was a younger kid, I used to make fun of vegans, you know, and now I'm a vegan.
So now that you're a vegan and you're a cook, how is that gonna affect you? Because I mean,
hey man, I can still eat beans, I can still eat tortillas, you know.
But you're not gonna barbecue no more.
Oh, absolutely, man. I'll roast up my corn. I'll roast up some food for me. You know, nice. Okay. It's just I still do barbecues. I love to barbecue and roast some corn and something that I can eat healthier. I don't mind, you know. Actually, I was telling my wife that I went to Midland for a supervisor meeting this morning, and I stopped and got me a bean and potato burrito. And it was dark still when I was eating it and driving, and I bit into it, and I've tasted the bacon. There's a piece of bacon.
Oh, man.
And I don't know if I was scared or it tasted bad, but it just didn't fit right. So I threw it, and on our way back, they were eating some sandwiches with bacon in it, and it just gave me it just made me feel so nauseous, and I'm like, I cannot believe I'm doing this to bacon. Like, I was the most faithful person to bacon, and now I'm not, you know?
Of all things, bacon.
Right?
Oh,
So,
man.
and long story short, man, it's been a tough journey for me, but I'm excited because I have all this energy. You know, I love hanging out with the young people, man. I hope that maybe at the time when my kids grow up that they have a youth pastor as awesome as my wife and I, man. Because there's nothing better, awesome. Man. You want to have a reason to go to church. To have good friends, you know, have a good youth pastor to encourage you. You know, that's never there to judge you, man. That's there to always try to lift you up, you know. And I hope that I can be that for some of you out there. You know, if not, you know, there's other churches, man. Find a home. It's not just a church, it's a community, it's a home. Find somewhere where you can call home and get to know Jesus more, you know. I encourage you guys to find a place. It doesn't have to be PowerHouse, you know. It could be other places. And I also wanted to mention that we have other pastors on staff, you know. We have a pastor that just came in from Fort Worth, and he has 20 plus years experience with the youth, and he's my mentor. I just asked him to be my mentor just recently, and there's a lot of knowledge to learn from there. My pastor of 39 years pastoring, you know, missionaries from big mega churches to missionaries. He's my lead pastor, and man, that guy's got so much knowledge. You know, we got Pastor Cesar Ramos, who's been helping me with the youth, and he's got a lot of knowledge too. And, you know, we got a lot of people on staff, you know, we got plenty of knowledge and plenty of wisdom to be able to help anybody and everybody, you know. It even trickles down to the adults, you know. I've always felt like there's going to be a lot of families that come to Christ through the young people, and awesome. That's the movement that we're making, man. You know, Hobbs for Jesus, guys. You know, a
good encouragement that you said was mentors. You know, I think me and Ricardo are very big about mentors. You know, having mentors. And I'm sorry, bro, having mentors, and you know, so if you're listening, and you know something about the church doesn't really appeal you. You know, at church, you'll find some very interesting people. You know, some business owners.
Oh, yeah.
You'll find some athletes. You'll find all kinds of people. And if you're whatever it is that you're into, I guarantee you will find it at church.
Yeah, we have quite a few business owners in our church. You know, me and my wife are actually fixing to start a business. So, you know, there's plenty of there's plenty of knowledge at that church. And man, we're here to help. We're here to love you guys and help you find a home, you know.
One of the things I was going to add as well, you know, I guess a big obstacle, I want to say, quiero saludar a toda la gente aquí.
Saludos.
Estamos aquí en vivo, miren, está el compa Gil y Pastor Sergio, y aquí está su amigo Ricardo Aley. Estamos hablando de ir a la iglesia y por qué a veces una gente no le gusta ir a la iglesia. But this episode is in English, so I'm going to transition back to English.
And it's okay, yo también hablo español. Soy de Juárez, Chihuahua. So
oh, wow.
I'm bilingual.
Tú eres de Juárez,
yes.
Y no...
yo soy del Paso, pero creado en Juárez.
Chuco,
sí.
Y si tienen hijos que no saben inglés, you know, aquí estamos para servir también en español.
En español, okay.
So, y ayudarles a aprender el inglés también.
Fantástico,
pues,
ahí está otra cosa.
Que tengo mucha gente aquí que está en español, so les voy a hablar en español. Una de las cosas que impide a mucha gente ir a la iglesia es de que piensa, ¿verdad? Que, bueno, yo soy una persona que piensa esto, de que vamos a ir a la iglesia y tenemos que dejar de hacer muchas cosas, como conocemos mucha gente, ¿verdad? Que le gusta ir a los bailes, cosas así, ¿verdad? Que a lo mejor piensa que dice, no, pues no quiero a la iglesia porque me dicen no hagas esto, no hagas esto, no hagas esto. Lo que sea, ¿verdad? Entonces, ¿qué le dices al público que piensa eso?
Bueno, para comenzar, mira, la cosa es que el Señor vino a morir a la cruz por nosotros, no porque somos perfectos, sino porque lo necesitábamos, ¿verdad? Porque somos pecadores. La iglesia no es para la gente perfecta, no es para la gente que toma su té así con un dedito para arriba, ¿no? La iglesia es para los pecadores, para nosotros, para poder mejorar nuestras vidas. No tienes que ir si te estás esperando para ser perfecto, para venir a la iglesia, nadie va a llegar a la iglesia.
Sí. Y también, como decía una vez un pastor, de que si estás buscando una iglesia que es perfecta y que si la encuentras, el momento que tú entres ahí ya dejó de ser perfecta.
No, y sí, tienes mucha razón. Mira, yo crecí en un lugar muy tradicional y así siempre pensábamos, tenemos que ser perfectos para ir a la iglesia, pero mira, la cosa es que el Señor es lo más importante y Él es omnipresente. Él, si tú vas a los bailes, Él está ahí también, no se esconde, Él es omnipresente. Si te estás escondiendo porque tomas o porque eso de la iglesia, el que te debes de preocupar es de Cristo. Él es el que de veras, he's the one that really matters.
Right. Es el que importa.
Es el que importa, exactamente.
Sí.
No tienes que ser perfecto. El Señor viene para mejorar nuestras vidas, para sanarnos, para hacernos puros, para renovar nuestras vidas. Todo lo que uno hace, todos sus errores, el Señor va limpiando esas cosas mientras que tú vas por ese proceso con Él. No tienes que venir limpiecito, perfecto y listo, porque nunca vamos a estar listos si ese es el motivo.
Y como quien dice, al fin del día, Dios se encarga de eso, ¿no? Dios se encarga, si hay algo mal en ti, Dios te lo va a quitar, ¿no? Déjenme como el pelito.
Dios te va a ayudar para poder eso, porque nosotros, una cosa que el Señor nos regaló es nuestra voluntad propia. El Señor viene para guiarnos, para ayudarnos a ser mejores personas, pero al último es nuestra decisión. Si queremos hacer lo bueno o queremos hacer lo malo. Al último, nosotros tenemos que pensar en qué ejemplo queremos dejar a nuestros hijos, las generaciones que vienen. ¿Queremos dejar bendición o queremos dar maldición? Pero una cosa que quiero aclarar es que ahí en Casa de Fe no estamos ahí para juzgar. Para mí es muy importante estar en las vidas de mis jóvenes, pero yo no los juzgo si hacen las cosas incorrectas, porque pues yo quién soy, ¿verdad? La Biblia, Jesús dijo a la gente en Jerusalén, el que no ha pecado tire la primera piedra, I'm not a perfect person. Yo no soy una persona perfecta, yo no me merezco tirar piedras. Y ni uno de nosotros. Vengan a poder hallar algo para mejorar nuestras vidas, un encuentro con Cristo. Y la comunidad de Hubs va a encontrar eso en este año. Y por medio de los jóvenes, y también los adultos lo pueden experimentar. Nunca es muy tiempo. Mientras que hay vida, hay esperanza.
Así es. Muy bien. Bueno, Pastor Sergio, pues ha sido un placer tenerlo aquí con nosotros en Ricas Plática, en el episodio número 21. Y pues queríamos que invitar otra vez a la gente a lo que va a estar pasando empezando el 5 de febrero.
Ok, en español, para comenzando el 5 de febrero, este martes a las 7 p.m. en el 601 East Snyder, 601 East Snyder, vamos a tener nuestro primer servicio de jóvenes, de las edades de 13 hasta las edades de colegio. Están todos invitados de jóvenes, no adultos, por favor. Lo que hemos enseñado es que los jóvenes se disfrutan mejor su tiempo cuando no están los papás. Por eso les aconsejamos que se queden padres en casa, traigan a sus hijos. Si necesitan un ride, háblenme. Estamos dispuestos para ir a recoger a sus hijos, ir a dejarlos. Y en inglés, PowerHouse Youth is first service February 5th at 7 p.m. You guys are invited. Ages 13 to college students. If you need a ride, give me a holler. I'll go pick you up and drop you off. Parents, send your kids. We're there to help. We're there to encourage your kids. Also, no adults. It's going to be only youth, because they get to enjoy the Lord a lot better when parents are not around. So we invite you young kids to come on down and experiment this with us. And if you can't make it February 5th, we will start having them every Tuesday at 7 p.m.
Awesome. Well, Mr. Gil, thank you for joining us again, brother.
Oh, man, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, it's always fun having... Me and him started this together, bro. Just me and him here by ourselves with no mics. We had no mics. It's me and him, man.
That's cool, man. Well, God's been blessing you guys, man. So
Yeah,
Keep on doing it.
Thank you.
Para mi gente aquí de Ricas Pláticas, pues muchas gracias por escucharnos. A toda la gente que nos escucha ahí en Spotify, en iTunes, en www.ricaspláticas.com, en YouTube y pues aquí en Facebook Live. Muchas gracias por escucharnos y pues aquí hemos estado. Seguiremos trayendo muchos más episodios. ¿Algo más que quieran decir antes de despedirse?
No, muchas gracias por invitarme. Thank you for inviting me. Es un placer, es un honor. Si cualquier cosa, encuéntrenme en Facebook, Sergio Muñoz o PowerHouse Youth. Estamos aquí para servir la comunidad de Hobbs. Like I said, Hobbs is for Jesus, guys.
Awesome.
Hobbs es para Cristo.
Bueno.
Thank you, guys.
Pues raza, mucho cuidado.
Nos
Thank you,
vemos,
guys.
nos vemos.